She stood near the folding chairs at the far edge of the crowd, hands trembling as she held the strap of her faded purse. Her clothes were clean but worn thin with years of mending. The ushers glanced at her, then past her, like she was part of the scenery instead of a guest. I watched from behind the line of graduates, heart pounding harder than it had for any exam. This was supposed to be my moment. Years of late-night studying, working shifts after school, skipping weekends with friends, it had all led here. But the only face I was looking for wasn't in the VIP section. It was hers. She looked so small among the banners and balloons, blinking back tears while everyone else snapped photos. They had no idea that without her, I wouldn't even be alive to graduate. She isn't my grandmother by blood. She became my grandma the night my mother packed a bag and didn't come back. I was 9, sitting on the apartment steps, pretending I wasn't scared while the sun disappeared. She was the building's quiet tenant, the woman who fed stray cats and always carried tissues. She didn't ask questions. She just opened her door. I slept on her couch for 3 months while social workers tried to place me somewhere. She cooked noodles with whatever was left in her cupboards. When the fridge was empty, she skipped meals so I wouldn't have to. I learned to do homework at her tiny kitchen table, balancing notebooks between stacks of old letters. As I got older, I learned which parts of my life were easier to keep quiet. Friends talked about ski trips and birthday dinners. I talked about library books and extra shifts. Nobody ever asked why I never invited anyone home. She never complained, but I knew people judged her. Her hands shook too much, her clothes were out of fashion, her stories wandered. So I stopped introducing her. I called her my guardian when paperwork demanded a label. But when college acceptance letters came, she cried like she had won the prize herself. She taped the envelope to the fridge, right next to overdue bills. She showed up 2 hours early because she didn't want to miss anything. She sat in the sun while other families clustered under umbrellas. I tried to convince her to sit in the shade. She said, "I waited a lifetime for this. Let me feel it." From behind the stage, I saw people whisper. One woman nudged her husband and pointed. An usher bent down to check her ticket twice. I knew what they were thinking. Who is this woman? Why is she alone? I almost didn't go to her. The schedule was strict. The line was long. The rules were clear. But then she looked up at me and smiled. The same tired, gentle smile she wore when she handed me my first back. People stood. Not politely, they rose like something had unlocked in them. Strangers wiped their eyes. Phones lowered, forgotten. The dean's face softened, and he nodded like he finally understood the real ceremony happening in front of him. She tried to remove the cap, saying, "This isn't mine." I knelt so she could hear me over the applause and whispered, "Everything I am is yours." She covered her mouth with both hands the way she always did when people stood. Not politely, they rose like something had unlocked in them. Strangers wiped their eyes. Phones lowered, forgotten. The dean's face softened, and he nodded like he finally understood the real ceremony happening in front of him. She tried to remove the cap, saying, "This isn't mine." I knelt so she could hear me over the applause and whispered. Not everyone was happy. By evening, my phone buzzed nonstop. Messages from relatives I barely spoke to. People saying I embarrassed the family, that I turned a formal event into a spectacle, that I should have honored my parents instead. One message cut the deepest. "You don't owe her anything." I sat on the edge of my bed in my gown, staring at the cracked ceiling of the apartment she'd kept warm for me all these years. I walked into the kitchen where she was making tea. She looked up, worried, already blaming herself. Did I cause trouble? I hugged her and said, "No, I finally told the truth." Because the truth is, they didn't see the nights she stayed awake, listening for my asthma to settle. The envelopes of coins hidden in kitchen drawers for emergencies. The way she learned online forms at 70 just so I could apply for aid. They didn't see her hands shaking while sewing my first interview suit, or her practicing my full name over and over so she wouldn't mispronounce it when cheering. They saw clothes. The next morning was silent. No applause, no banners, just the hum of the fridge and the sunlight creeping through threadbare curtains. She made pancakes because she always believed celebrations should last longer than a day. We sat at the small table, my diploma between us, smudged with syrup from her clumsy hug. "People will forget," she said softly. "Moments fade." I shook my head. "Hear what I learned. Family isn't a last name. It's a choice made over and over when it would be easier to walk away."